Hello and welcome to My Retro Watches. My name is Mike and this is part 3 of my vintage retro Seiko watch collection. If you've missed the first 2 episodes and you're tuning into this one for the first time, then please click on my channel link and go back to the videos tab, and there you'll find the first 2 episodes. Also, if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, then please subscribe and don't forget to click the bell button below so you can get alerted to any of my up and new content. So I'm going to take the same format as before. I'm going to go through each watch individually, tell you a little bit about what I know about them, show you the movement numbers, and so on and so forth, as I've done, like I say, in the other videos. We've got the addition of these 2 dive type watches that I thought were relevant to put into this video. So I've got quite a few to get through, and I want to start straight away with this one here. So this is a Seiko 5 Sports Diver, and this is the actual only brand new Seiko I have ever bought. I kind of fell in love with that dial. It's, as you can, if you've seen my other videos, I've got a thing for these sort of long indices for the minutes. It looked really good. It's got a really nice blue dial, and blue dials always win. The reference on this one is a SNZH53, the 53 indicating that it's a blue dial, because you also get these in a black, and there is another colour and I can't think what it is. I think it's a white one from memory. A lot of people mod these as well to the 50 Fathoms mod, but I've kept it original. It's never had the original bracelet on it though. As soon as I bought it, I put it on this mesh, whoops, it's a mesh strap which was from Watch Gecko, and it's like a double weave, so it's really, really cool. I really thought that set it off quite nicely, and it's got a display case back, and the movement in this one is a 7S 36. Untouched. I've not been in here at all. It runs absolutely perfectly fine, and I do wear it. I'm not a massive fan of dive watches, but I do wear this one quite a lot. And just to sort of give you an idea of how that looks, it's rather special. I do like the bezel on this one as well. It's quite big, and the numbers are really clear, and it matches the dial, of course, so it really sets it off. These are still available on the open market, so you can pick these up. Expect to pay anywhere between 100 and maybe 130 pounds, something of that ilk. So moving on, this is another diver, and I think from memory this is from the 80s. So we'll try and give you a bit of the reference now, if I can see it. I've got it the wrong way around, of course. And it's a 7002 7000, and I think that's from, I can't read that number, 1985 or even 95, I think. And a good friend of mine, Richie, got this for me. He was living in the Philippines, and he got one of his watch techs down there to restore this for myself. And granted, it has got aftermarket hands and a dial and a bezel insert, but I really do like it. And it is a true diver in a sense, because it's got a screw down crown at 4, and they're really big, so obviously if you're diving with gloves on, you can use that. It came on a rubber strap, as most Seiko divers I think do. I just swapped it for this black mesh this time. I have a thing about mesh, and they always look good on a dive. So there we are. There's my 2 and only dive type watches. So this one is just a little bit special to me. I've actually done a blog of this watch, so I will leave a link just up here now to the blog, so you could read that in its entirety if you wanted to. This is a Seiko Actus, as you can see, but it has this faceted crystal, so it's not a flat crystal. Hopefully that's coming through. This is actually a new old stock crystal, which was I sourced from Stefan, who's the eBay seller I always promote, and his link is down below. This watch came to me it was not working, and that's why I bought it. I thought I'd set myself a little bit of a challenge. I thought how difficult can it be, and it turned to be quite difficult. First of all, when I took it apart, I noticed, you won't be able to see this on camera, but there, or maybe you can, there's a little scratch on the dial, which was a bit alarming. Why was the dial scratched? And the long story short is, once I went inside to the movement, I found that somebody had basically taken it apart and not knowing what they were doing. I'd got sheared screws in there, and the thing was just in really poor condition. I had to use some donor parts, and it was a bit of a labour of love, it has to be said, but I got it working again, and it runs really, really well now. And then I, of course, did the typical restoring of the case, so brushed, finished around here, polished bezel, and sorry, I did the bracelet as well. So I've polished the center links and I brushed the outer links. I don't think that comes out on very well on light, but typically I leave photos up so you'll be able to see the photos of this particular one. It's also got the Japanese day wheel there. So it really is quite a special watch. These faceted crystals are quite rare, certainly rare to find now as a new old stock. And the reference is 7019 7210, and this is from 1973. Wonderful watch. Now then, this is one of the ones I did a long time ago, and it was really for practice. So I'll put some photos up now of what this originally looked like, and you'll probably be quite amazed at how bad it was. I set about figuring out what to do with the case, because I soon learnt in my earlier years, a couple of years ago, that a lot of these gold plated cases were actually brass underneath the gold. So it was in such poor condition, I removed the rest of the plating and I polished the brass and replicated the sort of ground finish you can kind of see. Put it on a gold mesh. What a surprise. I haven't serviced the movement on this. I rarely wear it actually. Usually when I wear it, people do remark about how weird it is. Not that that bothers me particularly, but I have to be in a good mood for a gold watch. So yes, going back onto the case, should I say. So once you restore brass, of course, brass tarnishes. So I sprayed this with a clear coat type spray to preserve it, and it's fared okay. It has sort of faded in places, to be honest, but it was very, very early in my sort of watch learning how to service and how to restore. So I keep it sort of from a nostalgic point of view. The serial on this one will be a 6119 5400, and it is from, I think, 71. So again, quite early. And for those who want to know what it looks like, it doesn't show it, sorry, in very good light here, but it's wearable and it's nice to have in the collection. Moving on to the next one now. This is a particular favourite of mine. I had admired these for quite some time. Trying to find one is quite difficult. And then I found a really battered one on eBay overseas and sent it over to here. So once again, I'll put the photos up of what it looked like beforehand. I knew the dial looked okay. The crystal being acrylic was quite easy to just sand down and polish back up again. Refinish the case in its entirety, so I had to polish the sides, brush the top as per normal, strip out the movement, reservice everything to get it working again, and it works a treat, has to be said. It has this lovely green two-tone dial, and the hexagonal shape coupled with that dial and the green was really, really nice. However, it didn't come with the bracelet, and I had to utilise everybody I know, and if you've watched some of the other videos, it's the same kind of story. I cast my net far and wide to all the contacts that I've got all over the place to see if anybody can come up with one, and somebody did, and I managed to acquire this bracelet. It's quite thick as well for a Seiko one. They're normally a bit more flimsy, and it is the genuine one for this model. so it really does set it off, and I'm so happy that I found that. The reference on this, whoops, is a 6119 5460, if I'm reading that right, from 1974. Incidentally, I've not restored the bracelet on this one. It came in okay. However, the case was quite tricky because maybe a photo might show it a bit better, but you've got a ground finish, a polish finish, and then a brush finish again. So trying to blend all those in and again not lose these edges was quite difficult. However, the end result on the wrist is fantastic. Really is a nice watch. And if you do see one of these on the internet, well, one, you might be bidding against me because they do this in blue and I'd really like to get that. But if you do see one, then try and get hold of it. They are not seen terribly often. Moving on. This one. I can't honestly tell you too much about this. I haven't done much with it other than the one video in my videos on YouTube is about the Clasp. It's the most popular video I've done, the Clasp restoration, and it was on this very watch. I've done nothing to it other than that. I've not serviced it, and to be honest, I rarely do wear it, and not because I don't like it. It's purely because I have so many, and other more shiny ones when I look in the morning take my eye, and they are the ones I put on. This is quite typical of Seiko to have these sort of two-tone, like dark green border and, you know, goldish, off goldish colour in the centre. I've got a few in for repair right now that have got exactly the same colour scheme on the dials, although they're completely different Seiko watches. However, the shapes of these are really, really nice. They're nice on the wrist. Model number on this one. So it is a 7019 5010, and sorry, I can't get this one in focus. It looks like it's from 1973. So let's show you what that one looks like. And there we have it. A very nice watch. I'm going to say that about all of them because they're all nice to me. I think because I've just shown you that particular one, I'll show you this one because it is the same watch. It's the same model number. However, it's on a two-tone green. So you have that nice green center, as you can see, and then a dark green border. Once again, untouched. I bought this from my friend Richie, who sourced this for me, again back in the Philippines, and he got it serviced, so I've never had to touch this particular one. But it is the Actus version of the same thing, and again it's got the Japanese and English day wheel. I always prefer the Japanese. I think it looks a bit cooler. Very nice. And you do see these, they come up quite a lot on eBay. It seems they were very popular. I've seen them in lots of different colours as well. There's a blue one, I think there's a dark blue one. Obviously there's the two-tone and the green one here, and no doubt there's probably another one as well. So that is that one. Okay, so we're now on to the back row, and we'll start over this side. And if you are a regular on the channel, you will recognise this particular watch because this one featured in What Has Stopped My Watch video, because this didn't run. Now, I bought this a long time ago, probably over 2 years it was in my collection, and it never ran very well at all. It came in a job lot, and this was the only one I wanted at the time, and I did fix it up a bit. So I did polish it, and in hindsight I shouldn't have, because it's supposed to be a brush finish on the top here and brushed all the way down the bracelet. And one day I will come back and do that properly, but the dial is bonkers, but I love the dial on this one. And I've actually got another one, funnily enough, in this sort of two-tone. However, it hasn't got the bracelet, and I cannot find at the moment this. I think it's unique to this watch. It's a 24mm lug, so it's as big as they come. And so trying to find the exact replacement has been, well, so far it's become very, very tricky. But it is a lovely example of how bonkers things got in the 70s. You know, hexagonal shape, really long indices, whereas every 5 minutes they're in this sort of different colour. Proper nice, definitely. And for reference, it is a 6119. I have it upside down. Where are we? 6119 5440, and this one is also from 1973, I think. Of course, I've always put the references up on the screen so you can see it, because I'm on the wrong prescription of glasses at the minute, which doesn't help at all when I'm trying to read these things. This on the wrist might be an acquired taste. It does sit quite high, and a bit skewed sometimes as well. But I just like it for its unusualness. You know, it's a really big chunky strap going on. There's a lot going on, full stop, on this watch, isn't there? Let's face it. But it's cool nevertheless, and something worthy of being in my collection. There's a bit of a theme going on here for hexagonals, and that brings me on to this particular one. So I'll put a picture up now of how it looked before you see it like this. This was quite a challenge, this watch, and I had to do many things. So first of all, of course, I had to service it and get it running, which I did successfully. I was able, luckily enough, to source a genuine Seiko replacement crystal. The crystals on these are really difficult because they're held in by a hard nylon gasket that goes round. Getting the old one out is easy, they just break out because it is glass. But to put the new one in, you have to make sure that gasket is in absolutely perfect, and you have to press in with a watch press the crystal, and you've got to make sure it keeps dead flat and it goes in. If it goes in slightly out of parallel, or you know, on the twist, the glass will break. So your heart beats really fast when you do these. I've done quite a few of that type of fitting of crystals, and I never like them, never, because sometimes they even make a bit of a clicking sound when they go in, and you're convinced at that point that you've actually broken it. On this, I actually repainted the hands. It was the first time I've ever done that. It's still the only time I've ever done that, actually. The black paint was hanging off, so I cleaned it all off, got some model paint and had a go, and it came out okay, I think. And then I also reloomed the hands also. So this thing got the complete works. The case then got a complete overhaul, which again was quite difficult. It's similar to the ones in video number 1, same case. There's so many angles going on, so not only these are angles, but they're also angled like that on the sides as well. So I had eventually worked out a method of how to do them at this point, but it's still nevertheless quite tricky. And let's try that one on for you. Maybe it doesn't look so great in this light, but my other photo, which I normally put up, will show it in its true light. It really is a nice one, this one. And the reference is 6309. And I can't read that one at all. It's a 5130. So you have to excuse me there, guys. Hopefully you can see that now. And it's from 1972, so it's another birth year watch for me. Okay, 5 more to do. This bad boy. So this was another amazing challenge. I saw this in a job lot from my seller in the Philippines, and I had to buy it. To be honest, I like the shape, the madness of it, but I also like this second hand. I thought the second hand was quite unusual, and it required a lot of work. It's a 7019 movement. It was the first time I'd ever been inside one of those, and it had many problems. It bent, balance, staffs. At the time I didn't know. I was very green. I couldn't figure these things out, and I just kept on trying part after part after part. But eventually I got it going, and I was really pleased about that. I like the fact that the day date is black on black, and again we have those Roman numerals as well, just to set it off. A nice inlay sort of bezel that goes around to give all the time markings. Really interesting. And these black parts aren't paint, they're sort of some sort of insert. I don't know what they're made of. I just tried to polish over those a little bit, didn't want to damage them. And again, of course, I refinished this case as best as I could. It didn't have a bracelet, and I found this, this is sort of ground, you can see it there very well, as an aftermarket thing on eBay. And to be honest, I've been looking for these again since, because I need another one now for something else, and I cannot find them for love nor money. Yeah, at the time they were plentiful, and I think they were like £10 or something, so it wasn't a lot of money. But again, really good watch. You do see these from time to time crop up. Again, not everybody's cup of tea. It's a bit of a bold one to wear, but it's that bonkers that it's definitely worthy of sitting here. It's in good company, isn't it? Let's face it. So it is a 7019 movement, and I'm not sure we're going to be able to see this with the angle. And no, I can't see it either. So sorry about that, guys. I will put it up on the screen now. And the wrist shot. There it is. And if you're in the group, the Facebook group, then you will see me posting this one every now and again. It does come out. It has to get worn. Right. Down to the final four. And we'll go on to this one. So this is probably one of my best finds in a way. This is absolutely mint. It came like it was new, and I didn't pay anything for it compared to what these normally go for, put it that way. It's in absolutely perfect, pristine condition. However, it's never been serviced, and it's not running too great. It will run, but if you wear it over the day, it's not so brilliant. And the trouble I've got is I can't get the case back off. The case back is stuck on fast, and I've tried and I've tried and I've tried, but so far it's completely eluded me. So one day I will get it off, and I will give it the service it deserves, because it is really nice looking. It's got this brushed or ground finish that goes around the bezel here, with a combination of polished sides and a brushed bracelet. Sits very nicely, I think, on the wrist. No, something's just happened there. There we go. Hopefully that's coming through. And they do this in a diamatic version as well that I've seen, and again different combinations. So I've got this somewhere in my collection, a champagne version, and I've also got a gold one with a black dial, which is just in these boxes, so I've not bothered to bring them out for this particular video, but you can see that on my website. And the reference 7006 5000, and another birth watch for me. It's another 1972. Really is a lovely one. I mean, you can sort of see, so let's just compare quickly. So this is from 1972, this is from 2 years ago. Now which one had the design cues? You know, it's these long indices again, and even on this dive watch, Seiko are still, you know, keeping up tradition. So you can kind of see why I like this one. Really, really good one. Okay. Time for a spot of TV. Now, I really do like this one, and it was in terrible condition when I got it. You couldn't tell. The photos on eBay, which I'll put up now, the actual genuine photo on eBay showed it terribly. And it just goes to show that if you're selling on eBay, photos are absolutely everything. I was lucky. I managed to find a new crystal for this to start with. I did refinish the case. However, this again was back in my early days, and I didn't know at the time that one of these, I can't see which one it is now, I think it's this back handle here, is supposed to be round. So at some point I'm going to put that on and finish it how it should be finished. but what I do like about it is it has this separate date setup. You can find this model with it in a more conventional next to each other, and it's got exactly the same case reference, but this one is a bit more unusual. And of course, hopefully you can see there, if I get the second hand to move, the days are actually the full day. So rather than abbreviated, it will actually say the whole day, and also in the other language there. Absolutely perfect. On the original bracelet, which I haven't touched on this one, I was a very, very lucky find. It really was. A reference for you guys. The light is awful, isn't it? So it's a 6119 5000. 6119 5000. Oh, sorry, and it's from, I'm suggesting it's from 1971. So what does this one look like when it's on? It looks like that. Really do like it. I like the way the indices as well are all sort of parallel. So rather than going round conventionally, they're all sort of straight lines. Quite an interesting touch, that. Now we have this one, and this was really, all this was a competition watch. And by a competition I mean the Forum wrist sushi that I'm always talking about on my channel. When I first started out, that's where I sort of found all my information and got friendly with guys, and we ran a competition to take a complete wreck of a watch and restore it as best we could. There was going to be no winner, it was just to see who could, or what people could do with their own talents. And I chose this particular one. It came to me typically all battered and bruised. I did all my magic on the case by, you know, doing the ground top, polished bezel, polished sides, and then I serviced this movement. And it was, I'm trying to think now, it would have only been my second or third serviced attempt at a movement, and it sparked into life very quickly, and it ran. I didn't even have a timographer at that point, so all I could do was set it to the time and see how much it was out after 24 hours. And to my amazement, this thing has never needed regulated. I can't say that's my talents at all. It's purely a fluke, I think, that I cleaned it and put it back together again, and it runs to within 10 seconds a day. I mean, unheard of, really. It's quite interesting. It has this brown burst dial, which is quite typical of Seiko. You'll see a lot of this type of dial. The dial has got some battle scars. There's some pitting to the dial there, and some unappealing marks. But it wasn't about that. It was just about trying to make it, make it look as good as you could. The bracelet is an original Seiko bracelet, although the clasp isn't. But it didn't come with one. And these are really hard to find. These 10mm lug bracelets for Seiko. It seems that you can always buy the watch head, but you never can get the bracelet. But I found this one from somewhere and put it on there for the competition purposes, really. The reference, it is a 6119 again. That's the bit that I do remember. It's a 7510, and that's from 1975. So there we are. Again, you can have these in different colours. I've seen one in blue. I tried to bid on one on blue recently, actually, but I missed out on it. Blue dials typically attract more attention, and the price got a bit too far away from where I would want to pay for it, so somebody else is enjoying that one now. However, there we are. It's a hexagonal case, which is what I like, but it's got this round dial, so not quite the same as this, but along those same lines. And for the final watch, another TV style. And I do like this one a lot. You do see these, they come up in the group every now and again. Some other people have got them and like them. And I paid, I think it was like £45 for this. So For me, it was quite a bit of money, because I like to buy them, you know, as wrecks rather than a finished watch. I did very little to this. I think I polished some the crystal to get some of the scratches out, and just a light polish over the rest of the watch just to give it a bit of luster. But it's sat as is. Again, I've never serviced this one, I haven't got around to it, but it runs just fine as it is. And what else can we tell you about it? Well, not much really. Everything follows. It has this ground top, polished side, and then the links. Well, this is part of the case, so that's all polished, and the links, sorry, ground, I'm saying everything the wrong way around here, and it all follows. So it's all in uniform, which is quite nice. The reference is, this one is another 6119. Try and get the camera to focus. No, sorry, it's a 6309. I don't even know the watches in my own collection. And it's a 5030, and it's from 1976. Fun watch to have. Fits really nicely. You can see it reflecting in the light there. And once again, I'll put a better picture up so you can see it in the daylight. And there we are. So I've managed to show you just about all of my collection that I've got. There is a few still straggling around the place that I haven't got out to show you on this occasion. Maybe that's for another video. But at the moment, that's another half an hour. So that's an hour and a half of videos just talking about my Seiko collection. So clearly I have got a problem. Coming next might well be my digital watches, and that will be equally as epic because I've got quite a few of those as well. But for now, if you've got this far, absolutely well done. I'm always amazed that anybody manages to watch all of my videos, and I swear some of you don't. So if you do, maybe leave a comment down below to say that you've watched the whole thing so I know. But anyway, thank you very, very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for all your comments. Please do leave more comments. Tell me your favourite that you've seen. Ask me any questions. I read every single one, and I do try to reply to as many as I possibly can. So thank you, and I'll catch you in the next video.